Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Everything Everywhere All at Once. Where do we get all the energy? I'm your host, Stephen Edwards. All right, well, here we are in the episode 9 already. In the last episode, we talked about holograms, creating art via just using words, just talking the words or typing the words into AI. And how we will soon be able to create music in the same way, simply by describing the genre, the tempo, the pitch, the cadence, the beat, or the artist type. We looked at maglev trains using magnetics and levitation. As we embrace levitation of trains, perhaps we can slowly begin to contemplate how, as human beings, we can levitate. Haven't you already had dreams about you levitating? We talked about drones, electric vehicles. We talked about the series Welcome to Earth that showed us all kinds of parts of our multiverse that perhaps we've never been aware of, been able to perceive before. And now through technology, we can see these multiverses all around us. We looked at the sphere, which just opened up this past weekend to rave reviews, and the belief is they're going to be these spheres are going to change the way we engage with entertainment, with bands, with music, and our environment. So we talked about the incredible math they've used to build these things, and these amazing entertainment facilities will have already and will continue to create performances and experiences never experienced or seen before. Our world is being shaken up, bottom line, and what only a very short time ago seemed impossible is here. The I'm possible or impossible has become I'm possible. So the radical, rapid, revolutionary technological changes that are happening where? Everywhere. In what? Everything. When? All at once, right? Causing massive exponential acceleration in growth opportunities, but also on the downside, potentially perceived at the moment as the downside are job losses, economic and societal issues for many people in everything, everywhere, all at once, right? So let's continue to look at these disruptive new technologies and their impact on our future. Where do they create opportunities for us individually and collectively? How do they impact the future of humanity? And we also need to look at the potential dangers and how to diffuse them. Okay, so one of the fastest growing and most popular sports in recent years has been Formula One. Formula One car racing, or as it's known as F1. Now, F1 has been around, or Formula One has been around for a long, long time, ever since I was a kid. So now the new breakthrough is, of course, Formula E. So electric racing cars, right? So Formula E racing represents a revolutionary shift in the world of motorsports, blending high-speed competition with a commitment to sustainability. It was literally launched in 2014. This racing series exclusively features electric-powered cars, providing a platform for major manufacturers to develop and showcase their electric vehicle technologies. Not only does Formula E offer thrilling races in city centers around the world, but it also paves the way for greener, more sustainable transportation in the future. The progression of electric vehicle technology is advancing with unprecedented momentum. So current models of electric cars, such as those produced by Tesla, are already matching, if not exceeding, the speeds of traditional combustion engine vehicles. But the vision for electric vehicles doesn't stop there. Experts anticipate that the speeds these vehicles can reach will soon surpass even the most advanced Formula One cars. Eventually, Formula E will replace Formula One. This is the beginning of the end. So, of course, autonomous vehicles are coming. Elon Musk, the visionary CEO of Tesla, has been at the forefront of autonomous vehicle technology, working tirelessly to transform the automotive industry. Literally, I think he sleeps like 2 or 3 hours a day. In a recent statement, Musk made the bold claim that fully autonomous vehicles will be a reality by the end of the year. Getting close, Elon. Okay, this prediction, while optimistic, demonstrates his unwavering confidence in the pace of technological advancement at Tesla. However, many industry experts consider this timeline to be overly ambitious, given the complexities and challenges associated with the development and widespread adoption of self-driving technology. So, despite the skepticism, it's undeniable that Musk's audacious vision continues to push boundaries of what is possible in the realm of autonomous transportation. Now, Vinod Khosla, the billionaire founder of Sun Microsystems, and who is now a very sought-after and prominent venture capitalist, is very excited about autonomous vehicles and their potential to solve one of his, what he calls, biggest beefs, inner city traffic congestion, right? By using small-seater autonomous vehicles for public transportation, he sees constant ongoing autonomous vehicles providing people with access to public transportation on demand. Okay, now, of course, we've all heard about autonomous cars, and they're scary enough for most people. And now we're thinking about, having to think about driving on the freeway alongside 18-wheelers with no drivers. Yeah, well, I know, but get used to it because it's coming. The idea of autonomous trucks cruising our highways may sound like science fiction, but it's rapidly becoming a reality. Companies like Waymo, Tesla, and Embark are at the forefront of this technological revolution and investing heavily in the development of self-driving trucks. Gosh. All right. So autonomous cars. These autonomous vehicles employ a combination of advanced sensors, artificial intelligence, and machine learning algorithms to navigate roads, respond to traffic, and deliver goods efficiently. Yeah, pretty sharp looking, right? Not only do they have the potential to drastically reduce costs and increase efficiency, but they also promise to improve road safety by eliminating human error, a leading cause of accidents. As technology continues to evolve, autonomous trucks are set to redefine the future of logistics and transportation industries. Now, just to be clear, there is no doubt that we will have autonomous vehicles and trucks. It's 100% guaranteed. Why? Look, 45,000 people are killed in car accidents every year. Top three reasons account for 80% of deaths. They are driving under the influence. Number two, speeding. And number three, not wearing a seatbelt. Look, autonomous vehicles don't drink. The speed is controlled, and they don't need to wear seatbelts. So look, without question, autonomous vehicles will be safer the instant they are employed. Yes, there will be accidents. Yes, people will be killed, but a tiny fraction of what is happening now. There are approximately 6 million car accidents each year. Car insurance companies pay out an estimated $341 billion a year for car accidents. So because the cost of not having autonomous vehicles in terms of human life is incalculable, and the financial cost is much higher as a result of human error. The fact that they are also safer and more reliable, well, is nice. It's always about the money, right? So there are still people who say, look, the internet's a fad. The world is round. Okay. All right. So I flew back home recently. Actually, I think it's not quite so recently. Time is flying, isn't it? But anyway, when I got back to when I flew into the airport here in Sarasota, Florida, there were no Ubers. It was in the middle of the season. The place was packed. It was late. So in desperation, no Ubers, no lifts. So in desperation, I took a cab home, right? It was an old, dirty vehicle. I asked the driver while we were driving along if he'd considered driving for Uber. He looked at me like I was crazy. He was offended, and he defended taxes. When I arrived home, and I had to then obviously get the money out in the dark and pay him. So I was dumbfounded. Some people just cannot see the writing on the wall, right? even when the wall and the writing are right in front of their face. So look, the next thing that we want to talk about here is 3D printing. 3D printing can be used to manufacture just about anything. And you've heard of 3D printing. 3D printers can make cars. Yes, you can 3D print a car. Clothes. Yes. From fire hydrants to houses. It can even print chocolate. Yeah. The possibilities are limitless, literally. 3D printing will change the world as we know it. It will also provide us with the opportunity to replace body parts, hearts, yes, and lungs, the liver, and just about any body part. The liver is actually considered to be the next body part, organ, that we can replace with 3D printing. It's truly remarkable and yet undeniably true. We now have the ability to 3D print body parts. This groundbreaking advancement holds the potential to eliminate the desperate measures some individuals resort to, such as selling their own kidneys. The emergence of 3D printing in the medical field brings forth the promise of crafting customized, on-demand organs. As a result, the prolonged and often excruciating wait for organ transplants could be significantly reduced or even eliminated. Patients would no longer need to rely solely on the unfortunate circumstance of finding a suitable donor after their passing. With this technological innovation, the vision of a healthy life unimpeded by organ failure becomes an attainable reality. The future of organ transplants has arrived, and it's being materialized through the power of 3D printing. Okay, well, now we have 4D printing. What? Yes. Let's take a look at this little video, and then I'll explain a little bit more. So 4D printing is, as you can see, this video is evolving, right? So after it's made, the article can continue to change. So 4D printing is a type of additive manufacturing that uses smart materials to create objects that can change over time in response to external stimuli. The fourth dimension in 4D printing refers to the ability of the printed object to change its shape or functionality in response to external stimuli, such as temperature, light, or moisture. 4D printing is still in its early stages of development, but it has the potential to revolutionize many industries, including manufacturing, medicine, and construction. For example, 4D printed medical implants could be designed to change shape as the body heals. And 4D printed buildings could be designed to self-repair or adapt to changing environmental conditions. In medicine, 4D printed implants could be used to repair damaged tissues and organs. Printed stents could be used to open blocked arteries, and 4D printed scaffolds could be used to help bones and tissues regenerate. 4D printed products could be designed to change shape after they're manufactured. This could make it possible to create products that are more customizable, efficient, and environmentally friendly. Printed clothing could be designed to fit perfectly to the wearer's body, and 4D printed furniture could be designed to self-assemble. That would be a game changer for me. There's never the number of screws that they say there. Anyway, so 4D printed buildings could be designed to self-repair or adapt to changing environmental conditions. Printed bridges could be designed to withstand earthquakes, and 4D printed houses could be designed to heat and cool themselves efficiently. 4D printing is a rapidly developing field with the potential to revolutionize many industries. It's an exciting time to be involved in 4D printing research and development and to see how this technology will be used to create new and innovative products in the future. Putting stuff into a growing body can be troublesome. The 3D printed tissues and organs of the future must be able to adapt to the body after transplantation. As as much as other bioprinted objects that contain no cells, like prosthetics or medical implants. That change must be engineered somehow. Okay. So what scientists have done is create something that has the ability to change with time, where normally whatever you printed will stay put. 4D printed materials will sit and wait for the trigger to change. The material is fixed in one state until it's hit with a particular stimulus, and it responds to the stimulus by changing. Okay. Now, prosthetics. Let's take a look here at prosthetics. Okay, so in recent years, the field of prosthetics has witnessed remarkable advancements. Some of these prosthetic limbs now surpass the power of their human counterparts. These innovative prosthetics equipped with cutting-edge technology offer enhanced functionality, providing users with superior strength, agility, and endurance that go beyond the capabilities of a natural limb. Through the integration of advanced sensors, micropressors, and AI technology, they can faithfully replicate the intricate movements of the human body, significantly enhancing the quality of life for individuals with a limb loss. Okay. All right, so the notion of willingly replacing natural limbs with prosthetic ones may sound like science fiction, but it's already happening and will become more and more acceptable as a way to enhance the human body. So, inspired by blockbuster Marvel movies, many people for generations have fostered dreams of processing superhero-like abilities. This is no longer just the stuff of fantasy. With advancements in technology, dreams can indeed become reality. Contemporary society is already familiar with various forms of body augmentation. Cosmetic procedures such as breast augmentation, butt lifts, calf and chest implants, facial reconstructive surgery, hair transplants are all commonplace. As technology continues to evolve, so does the possibility of functional augmentation that could enhance human abilities beyond their natural limits. Remember Blade Runner? Yeah. Advancements in medical technology have opened up a multitude of opportunities for individuals to enhance or modify their physical attributes. Initially, it's been met with skepticism, still is some ridicule and opposition due to the societal norms that it will replace. As paradigm shift always do, those are the three stages of a paradigm shift. Number one, vehemently opposed. Number two, ridicule. And number three, then it's just accepted as being obvious. All right. The idea of altering one's appearance has undergone a significant shift. And before long, this will be accepted as an obvious and acceptable option. As we adapt and evolve, our perception of these procedures has changed. They are now not only accepted, but considered normal choices for many. This reflects our society's growing acceptance of personal aesthetic autonomy and the realization that technology can empower us to achieve what was once thought as impossible. You ever thought of prosthetics as a fashion? Right? Gone are the days of clunky, unattractive prosthetics. Today, prosthetic limbs are not only functional, but also visually appealing, making a statement in their own right. With innovative design and cutting-edge technology, these modern prosthetics resemble works of art rather than mere medical devices. Some are even customizable, allowing users to showcase their unique personal style. This evolution in prosthetic design is a testament to how technology continues to redefine our expectations. It demonstrates that functionality and fashion can indeed harmoniously coexist, leaving us in awe of the limitless possibilities. All right, so batteries, huge breakthroughs in batteries, which are needed. We now have solid state and mega batteries. So everything everywhere is becoming more technologically driven. All this technology requires what? Power. More power than we can currently generate. Much, much more. So now we have an issue or a challenge or a race to power. We're going to need many new sources of energy, clean energy, renewable energy, right? Environmentally conscious energy, right? So we cannot afford to keep pouring millions of tons of carbon into the atmosphere. We're on a very narrow timeline with that, right? So one of the new sources of energy, or should I say significantly modified and modernized sources of energy, are, of course, batteries. Advances in battery technology has caused the rise of mega batteries. A new era of storage is on the horizon, ushered by the emergence of mega batteries. These extraordinary powerhouses transcend the realm of conventional batteries, going beyond merely illuminating homes or fueling vehicles. Mega batteries possess the potential to illuminate entire cities, fundamentally transforming our energy consumption and storage practices. Among these, as you see to the right there, solid-state batteries stand out as the most promising, offering superior energy density, extended lifespan, and enhanced safety when compared to traditional lithium-ion batteries. So all of you who went out and bought a lithium mine, you might be disappointed. Anyway, as technology continues its relentless march forward, we can anticipate further breakthroughs in energy storage solutions, paving the way for a more sustainable and energy efficient future. Okay, so batteries will be an important source of energy in the future, and there are many new types of battery being researched and tested. All right, we talked about solid state. All of these new emerging technologies are, there are challenges and concerns about them. However, without exception, we are way past the stage and are now at the when stage. So no, it's not if now, it's just when. Another example of this, and another energy source that is surrounded with controversy because things have happened in the past, but have little, or in most cases, no relevance to the technology that surrounds this source of energy today. In fact, this source of energy could well be the most significant and vital source of energy that will most likely resolve the world energy crisis and the climate issue. And that energy is nuclear, right? Fission. How do you feel about nuclear energy? Interesting, right? Today, there are basically three types of nuclear reactor, right? So small modular reactors, or SMRs, right, are advanced nuclear reactors that have the power and the capacity of up to 300 megawatts per unit, which is about 1/3 of the generating capacity of a traditional nuclear power reactor. So SMRs can produce a large amount of low carbon electricity. They are small, physically a fraction of the size of a conventional nuclear reactor, modular, making it possible for systems and components to be factory assembled and transported as a unit to the location for installation. And they are reactors harnessing nuclear fission to generate heat to produce energy. So it's been a revolution. Here's a couple of quotes here. So this one says, this is from Nuclear Power, the Road to a Carbon-Free Future. Our energy choices today will determine our children's world tomorrow. Nuclear power is part of the solution. So let's have a look here. These things are, now there's small modular reactors, and there are VSMRs, very small modular reactors. A lot of forecasters estimate that the energy production and demand on Earth will grow roughly 2x from where it is today by the end of the century. That's massive, right? So there are other ways to look at that demand forecast. You can look at GDP per capita and energy consumption per capita over time, and you will usually see for every 1% increase in GDP, the cost of energy consumption will go up 1.2% per capita. And that means based on population growth, we're going to need about 5 times more energy than we produce on Earth today by the end of the century. Now, we can't do that by pumping oil and gas out of the ground. We need another technology or some renewable systems to scale up more quickly. And fusion presents this great C-scale opportunity for how we generate energy leveraging the technology of the sun. The two most funded high-profile fusion technology entrepreneurs, this is an underground nuclear reactor scene. You see how small it is, right? So Robert Mumgard, he is the CEO of Commonwealth Fusion. Go back here. This is the website for Commonwealth Fusion. So he's raised a couple of $2 billion. He's working on. And by the way, these guys, I'm going to show you two of these, right? So these guys have basically said, look, it's not a question of if, again, it's a question of when, how much money's put in and how we can get this technology moving. He said, it's not just money, because some of these things are going to take a certain amount of time. So we're in a race. Another company is Helion. So that's owned by David Courtley. He 15 years as a principal investigator. He's raised $2.2 billion. And a recent round of funding, he raised $500 million. Steel giant Nucor and Helion Technology recently joined forces to bring fusion power to the grid and create green steel. The U.S. largest steel maker is plugging into fusion power. This week, Nucor struck a deal with startup Helion Energy to build a 500-megawatt fusion power plant at one of its mills. Nucor steel is used in everything from ovens to skyscrapers, but requires a lot of energy to produce. That's why it's hoping to harness nuclear fusion, joining atoms, which releases 4 million times as much energy as burning fossil fuels. So steel yourself. The steel industry makes up 7% of the world's carbon emissions, but using fusion power could significantly reduce that because it doesn't release emissions. Nuclear power plants produce electricity from fission, which is considered non-renewable. Mending metal. While fusion is much harder to produce, Nucor's new plant could generate enough electricity to power hundreds of thousands of homes and reduce its emissions by 500,000 metric tons. Ignition ambitions. Investment in fusion power has surged since scientists made a major breakthrough last year using a nuclear fusion reaction to create net energy gain. Fusion funding has nearly 3x'd since 2021, hitting $6 billion. In May, Microsoft signed for Helion Energy to supply it with electricity. And Google and Chevron participated in a $250 million raise last year for Japanese fusion startup TAE. The U.S. Department of Energy is giving $46 million to 8 companies working on fusion power plants to supercharge the tech's development. Fusing forces can fuel progress. By some estimates, fusion energy wasn't expected on the grid for decades, but surging funding and big-name backers could speed up the timeline. At least 4 companies now predict they'll be able to deliver fusion power to the grid by 2030. Sam Altman, OpenAI founder, invested $375 million of his own money, which, wasn't doing anything anyway. So there are about 70 fusion companies trying to find the best ways to duplicate the process of the sun. They are all focused on one of 6 different architectures. Now, the odds that all of them will succeed are pretty low, but which ones will win, who knows? What will determine who wins? The price of energy they produce. They believe very strongly they can get the cost of energy they produce down to 1 cent per kilowatt hour. The average cost of energy per kilowatt hour in the United States today is 16.11 cents. This means that it costs an average of just over 16 cents to power a 100-watt light bulb for an hour. So that is a massive difference, a massive game changer. Not only will energy be abundant, but it will be much cheaper. You will be able to buy fusion power and have it come straight to your refrigerator. Now, There could be many winners. No one company can possibly supply all the energy we require. There's no shortage of customers. We need energy, and we need it now. Just like your money, right? Also, we have a driving need for safer, clean energy. We all know about the effects of fossil fuel and carbon in the atmosphere. Now, long term, we know we can solve climate change issues. Short term, we have very little time. 80 gigatons of carbon going into the atmosphere every year. In 10 years, it'll be too late. So we can resolve food insecurity. We can resolve the energy crisis. And we now have the technology for the desalination of our oceans. Wouldn't it be tragic? What a tragic irony if we ran out of time to implement the technology and reap the benefits. Now, this is not the only solution, and we need many sources of energy, wind and solar among them. I know each of these solutions brings with it challenges. The sun is not always shining, and on the panels, the wind is not always on it's on its own schedule. So batteries have limitations, and so does fusion. We need them all, and other new technologies that are being worked on. Here's the good news. We have the technology. The bad news? We're running out of time to implement them. We need this energy now. So we are on a tight schedule. So energy is going to become a more and more important discussed issue. I'm sure you've heard all kinds of things about wind and solar and fossil fuel, nuclear fusion energy, nuclear power stations, nuclear waste, nuclear reactors exploding. There's a lot of stuff, right? The vast areas of land required to produce any significant amount of wind and solar energy, the dangers and high costs of these alternative energies, these concerns all have validity. What I'm suggesting you do is to look into them all and research them, at least understand the pluses and minuses, ask questions, be curious, ask AI. I did. Right. Just remember, there's a lot of misinformation and fake news out there. No one makes the right decisions all the time. No one. The best thing you can do is make informed decisions. This is such a critical issue. You need to be informed and participate in the future of your earthly home, your heart, Earth, remember? Up until recently, I was very skeptical about nuclear energy. When I thought about nuclear energy, I thought of those huge power stations creating nuclear waste that cannot be destroyed and has to be buried deep underground. High-level waste, low-level waste, and the terrible accidents that have occurred. Chernobyl in 1986, Fukushima in 2011. These are two of the most famous, and there have been others. In addition to the safety and environmental and other factors that influence my perception of nuclear powers were tremendous costs, and the fact that if things do go wrong, you can't simply shut the power plant down. And once they do go out of commission, because they don't last forever, the demolition is as difficult as getting rid of the nuclear waste. So I could see why there has been a huge resistance from the government and people for having nuclear power. However, something we need to understand. Very often, what drives innovation is not what is best for the planet or the populace, or even safety for that matter. What drives innovations that are not implemented has everything to do with money and power. There are huge corporations that are invested in the technologies they currently have and resources, their resources being the ones we use, oil, gas, coal, just as examples. So you need to do your own research. A lot of reasons for not using nuclear power are no longer valid reasons. And there are a lot of reasons why it might be the answer to not only our energy requirements, but it could also well be the answer to climate change and the reduction of carbon emissions in our atmosphere. Turns out, well, things have changed a lot. Who'd have thunk? In a world where everything, everywhere, all at once is going through rapid, radical, revolutionary, exponential change, right? So suffice to say, upon further review, these nuclear power stations are nothing like they used to be. We no longer need to build multi-billion-dollar power stations that take years to build and are extremely problematic to build and close down. So we can build these small modular reactors very quickly, shut them down very quickly, dismantle them very quickly and easily. But let's do this. I'm going to just show you a quick little video here, and you get a little sense of what's been going on and how they create this power.
Of how the systems work. On either end, we inject our fusion fuel. We heat it. At this point, it's relatively cold. It's about 5 million degrees or so. We accelerate to the center compression area where we then squeeze it, increasing pressure and density and temperature until we get to fusion conditions over 100 million degrees. These helions and deuterons fuse to form helium or alpha particles and protons. Those are trapped in that magnetic field. And as that heat, that hot plasma expands, we pull that energy out directly recapturing that electricity. Sounds pretty fantastical. I'm showing you a lot of 3D drawings and all that stuff. The fact is, though, we built this. And this was the key for me. This is when I went from, I was a skeptic, and then we had this cool idea, and we went out to try to build it. But we actually had to build the thing. We had to build it, turn it on, prove that technology. And so we did that. In 2008, we built a machine that did thermonuclear for fusion for the first time. That machine was about $1.5 million, and it set records for temperature, density, pressure. I personally helped build that thing a little bit. They don't let me touch wrenches too much. And actually produced fusion reactions with it and measured those reactions. And at that point I said, look, holy shit, we may have the answer to this. Let's go try to figure out how to build a business around it. And as I think we'll probably talk today, that turns out that's hard too. But in the process of doing that, we've now built 6 machines that do fusion. The latest one we call Trenta, that one exceeded 100 million degrees. We're the first private company to do that. We did DD fusion. We actually did D-helium-3 fusion, where we actually took rare helium-3 and fused it with deuterium. But again, we think we're the first company to ever do that, maybe even the first group to ever do that. And then the most important thing, I think, is we need to recapture this electricity. And so that's the first machine we built with private funding in 2014, was a machine that took energy from those capacitors and those pulse power, and then very quickly in microseconds put that energy into a magnetic core, and then recovered that magnetic energy back to the capacitors.
Okay, well, as you can see,
of how this,
it's pretty simple. And if you feel like you want to start your own small modular reactor, give us a call. We have some for, I'm just kidding. All right. So here's the interesting thing though, above and beyond the fact that we can do this now, and it's showing you here that there are 3 types of reactors now. We've got the micro reactor, small modular reactor, and of course the traditional reactor. That these are things that, creating a nuclear power station not that long ago would have been something only a government could do that, right? So again, we're putting the power literally back in the hands of people, right? So the goal here is to get you to open your heart and mind to the possibility that all technology can be reconfigured, improved, and provide solutions. And also to once again provide more evidence that the answers and solutions to many of our concerns and challenges and obstacles in creating a better, more peaceful, and radically abundant world are coming online. Now, we still have a lot to do, and there are many more seemingly insurmountable concerns and challenges and obstacles for us to overcome. And we'll discuss them in future episodes of Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Okay. So in the meantime, as we conclude here in this episode, I want to remind you about your Everything, Everywhere, All at Once journal. Remember, we talked about that. That was the first episode. So have it with you for each episode. There is so much deep, delicious, delectable, and debatable information in each episode. The more you can absorb, the better prepared you are going to be for what is to come, both in your life and the life of your family, and in the community as well. The better prepared you're going to be to monetize all this information and build wealth for your family, and the better prepared you're going to be for the radical, revolutionary information I'll be sharing with you in upcoming episodes of Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. So this is a reminder of one of the first dares I gave you. Another reminder is to create a group or just have a friend that you can discuss and challenge some of these ideas and concepts with. Have an everything, everywhere, all at once party. Bring people over to watch with you. And after, sit and discuss what you heard and what your heart and intuition tells you it means for you. So you've heard me mention Jack Ma before. He is the founder of Alibaba. But he says, we talk about the heart and our intuition. He says, only fools use their mouth to speak. A smart man uses his brain, and a wise man uses his heart. And Steve Jobs says, your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of other people's opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. And he also said, of course, this is one of his other favorite quotes, famous quotes. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers. Yes, you. The round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently, who look at words and see different things. Earth, heart, nowhere, now here. The list goes on and on and on. The ones who see things differently, they're not fond of rules. Me either. And they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones that do. Yes, and that's you. All right, wherever you go with all your heart. Confucius, right? The yellow brick road. We're back on the yellow brick road. Gosh. Another brick in the yellow brick road. Where's it taking us? Home. And what is there nothing like? Home. And home is where? Yes. Where the heart is. Earth and our heart are connected, right? It's also where hope resides. Hope, H-O-P-E, heaven on planet Earth. I know it's crazy, but we already know. It's good to be crazy. All right, so it's time for some sultry. As you know, poetry and sultry are slightly different. Poetry tends to be written from the mind. People think it out, lay it out. Whereas sultry comes straight from the heart. There is no space for thought. It just comes straight out from the heart. So the piece of sultry for today is called The Most Amazing Star. So let's take a deep breath. Let it out. One more deep breath in. Let's relax. Gently close your eyes and let that breath out. And this is called The Most Amazing Star. All of these things you can do, and even greater things. The time has come for you to finally accept your own wings, to come to heaven and let go of these things, to feel the love from your soul that communion brings. Listen to the truth that comes from peace in your mind, through the love that flows through like there is no other kind. There was love before thought, so it has always been blind. There is more love in the universe than you're looking to find. Coming together in an explosion of all bliss. There is no description to explain a moment like this. As you come back to life, you are more than you're seeing. The truth has come to show that you are a light being. And of course, light is love. And that's who you are. The brightest light ever created from the most amazing star. Yes, you are. Let that sink in. Take a breath. And when you're ready, let it out and gently open your eyes. The Greeks had a saying. All right. And what we think of today, of course, is an advanced culture with some of the most intelligent, enlightened, and greatest philosophers in the history of the world. They used to say, "Sapere ord," which means dare to be wise. Also, a phrase used in the path of enlightenment. So it can be interpreted in many ways, but I like to use it as dare to be wise. It's, dare to be who you really are is the ultimate dare. And that, Socrates once said that learning is simply remembering that we already have all the wisdom we need within us. We didn't come lacking anything that we would need. So we're in a process of remembrance. We had to forget that which we know to have experiences. And now we're remembering again, becoming members again of the whole, right? So you also know that I have created an acronym for DARE, Daily Active Remembering Experience, because if it's all about remembering, let's have experiences every day that help us remember, right? So your DARE for this episode, should you choose to accept it, is to make sure you complete all the dares that I've given you so far, because they will set you up for what is coming next. So until we meet again, and we are meeting here because we are exchanging energy, when we do meet in person, it will feel like we've known each other for lifetimes. Yeah. Until then, sapere ord, dare.